Hey everyone, what's up? It's Anthony from Anthony Vlog, and in this video I'm just trying to catch up with my user requests. Had a lot of people message me about the broken USBs on the Skycontroller 2, and my email didn't work, so every time I was trying to send, it was getting an error that my server's IP address was being blacklisted. But the problem was I actually didn't set any authentication outgoing, so that stopped the recipient service from accepting my mail because it just looked like spam. Anyways, I'm sorry about that if you haven't got my emails or haven't heard from me in a while. Really sorry. So what I'm gonna do is open this up, and I'm gonna show you all the parts that are around the USB PCB. And the reason I'm doing this is because the PCB, when people repair it, they actually knock off some of the little components that are next to the resistors, diodes. I think there's a coil as well. So what this video is intended to do is to show you exactly what those components are. If I can find their part numbers, good, I will help you. But if I can't, then someone else a bit more experienced with surface mount components or micro board work, they can actually give us the information as I go through the components on the board. Alright, so let's get to it. I've opened up the Skycontroller 2, and I'm just going to run through the little surface mounted components that are next to the USB port that people have a tendency to knock off during soldering. Because they're really small, it's really easy to miss them when you're using big tips. I mean, to show you an example, this is what I use. This is a really small tip. Focus here. That's a really small tip. And just in comparison, this is an SD card. So you can see how small that is. And just gonna record on a microscope, and I'll show you how small this tip is, but it still is quite big if you see how small these components are. And if I put a micro SD card is even smaller. So I'm going to put a micro SD card there, and to show you the size, that's really small. So here we go. Okay. The most common ones which I see people knock off are these side ones. I think they're diodes. These ones. There's two of them. They're identical on each side of the USB socket. And just behind the USB socket, here's where you would be soldering your legs for the USB socket onto the PCB. Okay, right behind that there is, let me just focus this. There is a coil, and this coil. This is a step-down coil, and there's two fuses on each side of it. The step-down input is 8 volts, and the output is 5 volts because the USB ports are 5 volts, so that is what that does. So if you're missing this, you can just find something, find a coil that steps down 8 volts to 9 volts, and it's a 4-legged component. This is a 102 resistor, and these are all capacitors, and then we've got another fuse here. So if you're missing any of these are capacitors, and there's a fuse there. Mind you, if I'm incorrect, I'm self-taught, so please correct me, and I won't contest. But I'm sharing what I know, what I learned. Alright, so that's basically it, and those are what I find that people usually knock off when they're changing the USB port on the Skycontroller 2. So if you want to correct me, please feel free to do that in the comments. Just write that time where it shows the component and what the components are. And I hope this helped you if you're repairing your unit, if you're missing components accidentally. That is what I've discovered they do. So until next time, fly safe and God bless.